here.
All right.
We're here with our lovely. Ooh, hold on.
Try to get this going here. Hello, hello. Working through some quick technical difficulties, as always.
Making sure everyone just looks very well put together, as always.
All right. So for YouTube, real quick, we are Artory DTLA. We're
Artory
here
DTLA.
at Athenesa Gallery at 616 La Brea, South La Brea Avenue,
Mm-hmm.
and we're here with
Artist.
artiste
Ouvrier. We're there. We're trying.
It's a word. So
Well, you do well.
Yeah.
all right. Thank you for being here with us. We really
Thank you
appreciate
guys for having me.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank
of
you for
course, of
having us
course.
here in your gallery
Yeah.
space. We've this will be our second one. Our last week was our first run, and we lost our podcast space, so it's been like a whirlwind of us
Yeah.
trying to figure out what the heck we were going to do
Yeah.
because we want to be able to do it in this way at this quality, and so we were like,
Yeah, we didn't want to.
Now
I
we're
guess the
here.
last thing we wanted to do was to have something kind of like slapped together and then just not be up to par with not only our standards but also just what you guys deserve as well. Because your work's amazing, and I think the more people that we can in the LA community that we can get here, bodies in here, seeing your work and appreciating you, just I guess the name of the game is to raise up artists, and you're an incredible artist, my
Oh,
friend.
thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's hard. I've heard it's hard to take photos of my work because the vibration, the colors. So actually, it's never like really, the same. Like
Yeah.
some pictures are very good in photos.
Yeah.
And when you see in real, it's like
Oh.
same. It's not the case at all for me. So I guess
Yeah.
you were right to wait for the good opportunity to have like a good quality of picture. Otherwise.
Yeah, because I mean, I think with your work, it's so incredibly detailed, and and like you can do a pass of it, right? Especially like when you look at it in a photograph. But when you're actually here and actually able to physically like feel that energy that you bring with it,
Sensation is different in
Uh-huh.
front of a painting. Like if you see Van Gogh, for example, I don't like Van Gogh too much.
Really?
But no. I mean, it's a great artist, but and he's 19th century, but it's not like.
Yeah.
But I would like the picture if I see them like. But when you see the real one, it's so sick. That I don't like. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Almost
Really?
like almost like butterfly in the stomach,
Yeah.
but not in the same, not in the good way.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's very strong. The Van Gogh works, but it's not my cup of tea. And when I see in real,
Yeah.
I have a big sensation. It's a big artist.
Yeah.
But I almost hate it.
Oh, interesting.
But when you see a picture. From Van Gogh, then it's decorative, it's alright,
Yeah.
I won't be afraid of that. I would be like, even sometimes I like, but the real work, when you see the real work, it's
Yeah.
like so thick and made with, the other side of the brush, so it's like carved almost.
Yeah.
That's
It's almost like a
all-
sculpture. Yeah.
It's creepy, though.
Yeah.
So
There's
so
some
it's
real
definitely
intention.
different what you have in real and the poster. That's why I began stencil in the first place.
Really?
Because I hated the poster from Klimt.
Uh-huh.
Because they put a lot of gold,
Yeah.
but gold, printed gold, looks like very
kind of a
fishy.
weird yellow and
Very
something
fishy.
off about it.
Yeah.
Very fishy, very bright, and
Uh-huh.
but when you see the real paintings, that's something else. And I kind of didn't like. You have the mugs, you have like everything.
Yeah.
So I love Gustav Klimt in real,
Uh-huh.
but I don't like the posters and all like the commercial stuff that you make after Klimt.
Yeah.
That's why I began to do a stencil that I was sure it would be an original after Klimt.
Interesting.
And so even though I was very bad at the beginning, it was still from Klimt, and even
Yeah.
a bad stencil
Yeah.
from a good painting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I keep on watching stencil in the street, and some of them you can see the guy has just begun or he's anonymous sometimes, and but you have the emotion, you have the wall, and you have the inspiration of it.
Truth.
And it's always better a
Yeah.
bad stencil from a good idea than a commercial version of it.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that idea of especially because you started first doing street murals.
Not at all.
No. Oh, really?
Not at all. I actually, I have a very personal point of view on that,
Yeah.
and it's not always understood.
Okay.
at first.
Uh-huh.
It always takes a few years for people to understand that I'm not against anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
And I like the vandal sometimes,
Yeah.
and I reckon they have a reason to do that. But I didn't want like to pretend being a vandal that I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I was doing stencil only for me, like for 7 years. Like someone forced me to do an exhibition, and I did in '95. I didn't go to the vernissage.
Yeah.
There was a lot of artists there. It was a video, mosaic, fractal in computer. I mean, it was an amazing, and there was a live techno also. So it was in '95, but I was so stupid. I went to a rave party in the south of France. I took a plane to join my friends. So I really didn't even want to show it. So I was doing it more for myself.
Interesting.
So I was not doing the street because I think the street belongs to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's only,
Yeah, to everybody.
Of course.
Not to me. Not to me. And when I began, like as a professional in year 2000, I invented my new technique. I had already like 7 years of experience. And then my friends told me, like, we have some wood pieces that you did back in the days, and it's still good, it's even better. You should do that instead of working for a boss, you know, in a restaurant. I was doing the kitchen, like, work. Like, it was very hard because I had to walk back home. I didn't have a home, it was in a squat.
Wow.
So when I finally sold my first stencil, you know, I was very happy. And for me, if you sell your stencil, and if you paint in the street, it will be an advertising in some way to what you do. So it will be illegal advertising if you do vandal, and you can pretend on the top of it that you do free art for people. So that I don't understand really, you know. And I didn't like the stencil artists who pretend to be vandal, or they are not, and they have a flat and everything, and they don't come from the hood, and you know, like. And so actually, the first one who appreciate my walls where I was invited or semi-legal.
Oh, okay.
You know, I did walls, but you have enough walls to do. Sometimes I was paid for it, sometimes not. I'm invited, but it makes advertising, so I do it.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win situation. And the vandal was the first one to say, "Oh, stencil is crap, but this guy is good," because in every interview he's saying that he doesn't do vandal. So he's not pretending to be a hero from the street. Because a lot of vandals, they didn't want to earn money with it. Like, that was not the point.
Wasn't like anonymity kind of part of it a little bit?
Well, it's a sign, so it's not really anonymous. It's half anonymous, but like no train, no fame. So like they take risk and everything, so they don't really want to be like found. But everybody in the middle knows who they are. But they kind of were the first to really acknowledge my heart, saying, "Okay, he's not pretending to be a graffiti or a writer, a graffiti artist or a vandal." So that's cool. He's honest. He says he wants to sell and he wants to earn his life and get out of the street actually. With the stencil. So,
sure.
But when I paint in the street, it stays for hedges. And you know what just happened? Like outside the gallery here, on the back, I did a big stencil and it was toyed, but half toyed. Just the two horses. The head and the bottom of the two horses were like toyed, but they didn't recover everything. And so I didn't know what to do because I don't want to start a war, like, because I like these guys, you know, but they don't know me. And
so you know who actually did it? Who actually?
I know people who know.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But I like people who do in the streets. They just didn't toy me totally, and maybe they didn't do it in purpose, and they kept 90% of my stencils. So, but what happened, and it happens to me everywhere in the world, so that's why I'm mentioning it. It's funny, it's crazy, but like someone called for it to be paint over in gray. So I thought, like, I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna because I could always like arrange stuff, you know, but I didn't want because then I would toy them again. Paint on top of them. And someone called someone and they came with a gray and they paint over. But not my stuff.
Really?
Like you will see after, like it's literally they paint like very precisely in gray. So you have all my stencil and they just paint over the toy.
Wow.
So that's crazy because it happens to me in Paris, it happens to me in Germany, it happens to me everywhere. Because when I paint somewhere, it's always with an intention not to disturb anybody, to make the wall even better if possible.
For sure.
Or I'm invited by the owner of the house, or I ask the owner of the house. In India, I always ask, So the guy say, oh, what do you want to paint? Oh, I
Yeah.
want to paint this. Is it political? No. Okay, go on.
Wow.
And then after 10 years, 15 years, it's still there.
That's awesome.
So I don't want to make all the spot
Yeah.
everywhere because it's an advertising technique.
Yeah, for sure.
But I want to make spot where I'm welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have 2006 pieces in Berlin in the street,
Mm-hmm.
and there were some tags, and I put tape on the tags,
Yeah.
and I paint, and then I remove
Mm-hmm.
the tape,
Oh yeah.
and then like even a little dove that was dropping bombs,
Mm-hmm.
so the stencil,
Yeah.
I tape it, and then I remove the tape, and when the guy who did that arrived in the street back in the days,
Yeah.
he went like, wow, shit, good. Oh, my dove is still there. Unbelievable, you know. And he happened to be like a gallerist, so and so I had a solo show in 2009, 3 years after, thanks
Wow.
to that, because I didn't kill the dove.
Yeah.
So but just to say, it's a big double door and
Yeah.
2 walls,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still there.
That's amazing.
Like
Yeah.
we are in 2021,
Mhm.
it's still there. Since in the time, I play in the time, not
Yeah.
necessarily everywhere spreading, but like in
Yeah.
right place and for a
Mhm.
long time. If
For
possible.
Yeah, that's very interesting that almost that idea of like longevity when it comes to walls and how you run a very real risk that someone can paint over your stuff
Yeah.
or tag or try to reclaim the wall, so to speak. And do you have any? How do you view the longevity of your work? Do you care if someone goes, let's say there's those walls in Berlin that you were talking about that have been there since for so many years. If they had
15 years, yeah.
so 15 years. If
But
they had painted
no one
over
believed
it,
me though. I did in 2015 a show in Berlin with
Yeah.
like 40 other stencil makers, and a lot
Yeah.
of them were German. I speak German. I told
Yeah.
them like, just go. It's like
Yeah.
Potsdamer Straße
Yeah.
156, and it was like not far from the exhibition, the gallery.
yeah.
And they were like, no, man, it's not possible. Like
What?
in the street, it doesn't stay that long.
So
know?
what did they? I mean, what would be like a typical like turnover then in terms of?
No, sometimes after time, you have like also a lot of people not toying you, but coming next to you
Yeah.
and adding other stuff.
Yeah.
And it escalates, and so at one point they have to paint over everything.
For sure.
But I'm pissed when it's recovered, or I'm
Yeah.
sad, or depending, or sometimes. Most of the time I'm proud. You know what happened also in Paris? That they made tags in the frame, because I did some picture with a frame with tape.
Yeah.
I was like kind of doing a frame in the street, like to play a little bit more like museum in the street.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it was plain
Mm-hmm.
in the frame,
Mm-hmm.
the tape, and then
Yeah.
plain colors, no?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they started to tag inside the frame,
Oh.
so around.
Yeah.
So they were doing the frame better.
Yeah.
Like it was like so decorative, like it was so amazing. So
Yeah.
like
That's a
it-
good collaboration. I mean,
Literally.
like street artists definitely can find a way to collaborate as well, and that's great.
I was super proud of that
Good.
because, like, they are supposed to be my enemies, like in a way, because a lot of graffiti artists hate
Oh yeah, it's like a
stencil.
war ground out there,
Yeah.
battleground out
No,
there.
because stencil art, you have to understand, they pretend. They pretend, if you don't go in the street, you don't take risks with the police and blah blah blah, you're not a real one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sucks. Like
Yeah.
most of my students, to tell you the truth, 3 are professional today, and a little bit famous. Like some of them, like as famous as me. But like most of them, they did mainly street.
Yeah.
But also a lot of poster. They paint on poster, like hand painted poster, and
Yeah.
so that doesn't stay for long.
Okay.
And in my case, I cannot do that.
Why not?
Good question.
Yeah.
I do that in the street
Mm-hmm.
at night, so it's illegal, but it's just pasting posters, so it's not a big deal. The ads, they do that all the time. The
For sure.
politic,
Yeah.
they do that all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you get caught, they cannot take your stencil material. They only take the.
Does the take the thing
But
down?
the
Off the
thing
wall.
is, when I do poster in the street, you know what happened?
What happened?
I come back at 9 in the morning to take a picture. It's not there anymore.
Oh.
They remove it and they paste it on Canva and they sell it in auction.
Oh, damn.
That sounds about right.
That's so. I mean, that sounds so cutthroat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once, it happened with a guy who had a shop next to a gallery where I was exhibiting. So I knew because
Yeah.
it was in the window,
Oh,
My
really?
big poster.
Yeah.
He pasted on a big Canva. It was in the window. I never saw the window because I was somewhere else, but like people told me. And one day I knew it was not in the window anymore, so I went, and it was in auction. Some people told me, "Oh, you have a very good auction right now, a good price," and I was like, "What? No, I didn't." So I came to see the guy. It was not in the window anymore, and I told him what happened. He said, "Oh, I gave him to my worker who's retired now as a gift for his retirement, and maybe he sold it, but it's gonna be good for your price. Your price is good." And actually, it worked. Because because this particular poster on Canva really went for a very good price, so I had good sale after that. But
awesome.
still, I was pissed. Yeah,
Of course, it's your work, and it's being
and it's signed. The guy knew it was like in the auction. It was Artiste Ouvrier. It was not anonymous posters that I saw in the street. And the guy said, and it was not untrue, that if he didn't remove it very carefully and paste on the Canva, then the city would have come and removed it and destroyed it.
All right, okay.
Which is half true because like the city of Paris, I have a lot of pieces, and when it's like you have a graffiti all around, or sometimes street artists all around, and they paint everything over but my stencil.
Oh wow!
I received a photo today, and there's still another graffiti under, but it's on the top because the owner of the shop. He called me master. He's a huge shoemaker. And told me, "Hey, master," because he asked my student like a year before, and they didn't want to paint this wall. And they told me, "But our master, maybe he would." And, so he came to me and said, "Oh, Artiste Ouvrier master." So he called me only master. It's very funny. And he had a friend in LA at this time, so he was talking always about this friend in LA. Huge guy. He said, "No, master, you don't paint here because they're gonna come and toy you. So here is a ladder." Climb the ladder and make it on top. So I did, and these pieces, it's the same as this one, like the walker, but it's a big dimension.
Oh, beautiful!
And it's still there since 2010.
Oh wow!
And only my signature I did under. And so someone had a stencil with a
thumbs up,
thumbs up, like the Facebook side.
Yeah.
So I had some very nice toy also, but they removed everything, including my signature, to keep only the stencil. Yeah. And it's untouched since 2010. So
that's beautiful.
So that I like this kind of story. But every wall has a story.
For sure.
And I don't want even I know Banksy. I told you before.
Yeah, you did.
In me 2008, and I talked with him for 1 hour, and. But I like he's a genius, right? Yeah. But he's a genius of advertising, actually. It's not the same than me. I'm just cutting myself, everything, painting myself. Like he's huge now. Yeah. But what he's promoting in his art, he said it in the movie Exit Through the Gift Shop. Yeah. That do I do art to promote my political ideas, or do I use political ideas to promote my art? He says it in the movie. That's why he's a genius, because that's the only thing I could have against him, and he's aware of it. Yeah. So I don't say anything against Banksy. I'm just saying what you do, or what you say, and what you do is different. For sure. And the idea of being a rebel and doing revolution in the street, I don't believe in that. Okay. And I don't believe in revolution. Why not? Because revolution is always weapon or violence, destruction. You get rid of one master or one chief, but you get another one instead. And meanwhile, all the poor people, they pay the price because they die or So I'm not saying the French Revolution was not necessary. I'm not anti-revolution. Yeah. And most of the time, I agree even with revolutionary what they say, but I reckon they don't do what they say. Most of the time, and they end up, if you fight against your father, when you get my age, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, shoo, I look exactly like him. So I don't want to be in this dialectic, slave master dialectic. It's bullshit. I think we have to get rid of it. For example, for the colors, I have nothing against Black Lives Matter. I think it's very important, this movement, but I wouldn't join because for me, I have a lot of African friends. Yeah. I have a lot of French American, Black American, Black French or whatever, but I cannot count because I don't know, because I don't really, it depends. You can't polish a turd.
Yeah.
So no matter the difference like of the color, I had the Black Panther from LA actually coming to me in India, and he thought I was Indian because at this time I was only with Indian, and I'm brown. I look like a North Indian. So he assumed I was brown, so I was a bro. And after 15 days living in my house, he's a historical Black Panther. He died recently.
Wow.
And he just told me, "Oh, you white? You French?" I was like, "Yeah, but what's the difference? I live in Ethiopia for 10 years, and like I'm more African than you are. Because he's typically American for me. And when you come to France, if you're Black American, doesn't matter if you're white or black. Even it's better if you're black, because for us it's like, oh, it's a star. Armstrong, he was a star in France, and he was underdog in the US. But for us, the Black Americans, they're always like, wow, the soldiers who came on the D-Day,
for sure.
and the musicians. So whenever we see a Black American, we see an American. We don't see the black. Or if you see the black, it's a plus. Because it's because all the music comes from the Black American, and comes from Africa before. But like the Black American invented rock and roll, jazz, hip hop, everything. So for us, it's super positive. Sometimes people in France, they don't treat the French black people the same way that the American black people, because for them, they're first of all they're American, so it's cool. So and it's so stupid. I had appointment with 2 French girls in Addis Abeba one day to make them visit the city, and the guard, it was in a restaurant, and I knew everybody there, and the guard, an old man, he told me, "Oh, the 2 white people are inside." I said, "I'm white too, right?" He said, "No, you're not white, because I speak the language and everything, so for him, I'm not white." So I was like, okay, it doesn't matter, okay, I am part of you guys, I'm Ethiopian, whatever, I know. But where are the 2 white girls? I see only one. I said, no, the other one. And she was from French Jamaica, So literally she was black. And but for the guy,
there's the culture aspect of it.
She's a French. She's a white. So he was telling me there are 2 white when there was one brown, and he was telling me that I wasn't. So it's all in our heads. So the same thing for like vandal, not vandal, the street activist or not. Like it's all bullshit. I like stencil art. Period.
No, I think it's amazing when we kind of get in this almost like pathology of wanting to label everything. When in reality, it sounds like you're coming into the pure essence of what it means to like be a stencil artist and not have to put all these labels and notions about what it means to be something.
It's already a commitment to be an artist. You don't need to be an activist in political, because if you're like small guy, nothing will happen. Is what you say. Nobody cares. But if you begin to be dangerous for the power, they will kill you. So I mean, like it's a dead end. So it's already a big commitment to be an artist, and if I'm invited, I will come and paint your wall because it's in the street and it is visibility for me. So we have a lot of win-win situation when I can do affordable prices also on some certain type of pieces, not the Canva because it's not fair for the other buyers, but like some other stuff. So you can always reach your target without fighting. I don't want to fight, because fight is fighting, and I don't like fighting. So how do you fight without fighting? In my case, like it was like by spending hours and hours cutting, and then presenting my work, and then earning my independence.
That's beautiful. Power through authenticity, I think.
I have a segue question. I want to know specifically your experience. Last year, you and Vanessa moved here during the pandemic from France, and you opened this gallery space. So I wanted to kind of get your input on what that experience was like, moving all of your work and your experiences in France to here, to the US and to LA, specifically into this gallery. During a pandemic.
I must say my wife is a warrior.
Yeah, we believe it.
Like we actually came last year to visit the city. We were in Venice Beach, and we were visiting the city, trying to know where it could be. And then we saw this space just before the lockdown. So we went to Reno during the lockdown. Instead of 15 days, we stayed like 2 months, I think.
Oh wow!
But we are lucky enough to be able to come back and visit the place a second time. But we had already signed like through internet, I think.
Okay.
But then we came back in August of this year, and here again, like we're so lucky because like Vanessa really managed to go on for a project no matter what. And I was like scared. I was like, oh, really? Like, are we doing this? And she never doubted, or if she doubted, she never told me. And she managed to do the stuff, and like, we sent a big container with all the artworks for different artists in the gallery. And it arrived like 1 week after we moved here. Like,
oh, wow.
it was crazy how she managed to remove everything for her flat in Paris. And right now I'm moving my house from Normandy. Like, the distance is difficult also. But what she did is for her son, because he's American and he needs special care, and it's very much better in California than in France. So she had a very strong reason. She's fighting for her son. So no matter what, she had to make it work.
Yeah.
So she's very like, she's a very strong woman.
Very resilient.
Yeah, we
very
believe
resilient.
it. In case you missed that, just for people who are watching, Vanessa and Pierre moved here during the pandemic and opened this beautiful gallery space and just immediately jumped into the art world here. And so that's what we were mentioning, because it's just like, I mean, it's
harrowing,
just a,
you know? I mean, to have to go through that,
you know? Yeah, so continue. What was it like for your artwork specifically to like transfer that? You know, you're in a whole new place. You're doing what you do, but it's a whole new city. So how does that?
Yeah, well.
How does that transfer over?
Vanessa has her own taste, and she has some like very nice artists. Like, some of them have an international career, but they're not. Like the next one, Lost Dog, is very well known, but like they didn't know a lot of show in LA. It's gonna be the first show in solo show in LA for Lost Dog as well, and for me, obviously, it's the first one. And like Anina Roscheisen, it was maybe the first one in LA, or the second one. She did a lot in New York.
Yeah.
She's half German, half Croatian, but she does it everywhere in Europe, and she does in New York quite a lot. But I don't know. She has a special taste, and like we were lucky enough, like to present some like very different stuff, but still with an harmony between the different artists. They have nothing to see with, you know. It's not like it's not a movement with our similar artists in the same movement. Like, it's very different.
Yeah, very different mediums.
Very different mediums. So the collective show like worked a little bit. Like, so far so good. Like, we were very lucky. I would say for my first solo show, if I want to talk about me.
Yeah,
of
please.
Course, no, that's what I wanted to know.
Let's
I wanted
hear
to
about
it
it.
was a very good question. I wanted to talk about the gallery
No,
too,
of
because
course,
it's amazing what Vanessa does here.
Yeah. Yeah, but
So I want to, thank her like for that.
Of course,
Of course,
yeah.
Vanessa, we appreciate you so much.
your power and your strength, and you're really doing well here.
True,
so
true.
Yeah,
congrats to you.
And it's not because it's my wife that I have a solo show, right? It's like because she's very strict and very hard on
Yeah,
me
you got
too.
to be up to snuff. I feel like,
If I, I'm recognized as
You
a
gotta be
stencil
worthy.
master, but
Yeah.
if I paint something that she doesn't like, she would tell me,
She'll
no,
be
it's
like-
crap. Like,
I'm not putting that on my
"Why would you
walls.
do that?"
exactly.
Ever?
No, that's great. I mean, I'm happy that you guys have that kind of a relationship where you can have like actual feedback when it comes to your work.
She's professional. Like,
Yes.
she doesn't let, anything go in her way, like.
Yeah.
So at one point she had a solo show with Virginie Caillé, which she's very expressionist. She's a bit disturbing, like I said, Van Gogh before. Like, for some people, she has this effect. It's nude,
Yeah.
but a little bit expressionist. Like, you saw the exhibition, right? So it worked a little bit, but some people were like kind of scared of it. But it was very interesting to have like
Yeah.
a solo show after all the collective show. And so I told her, what about my solo show? She said, yeah, actually it's a good idea. I was like, cool. But I didn't interfere at all in the choice of the artworks,
Yeah.
because we had a lot from France.
Okay.
And she said, I have more than enough, so I'm going to do, don't do anything, don't even come to the gallery. I want to be,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So it's nice for me, because I came and I discovered the stuff, and I'm like, okay, it's cool, like she hired someone, like, obviously to make it like very professionally, and
For sure.
and so I don't have solo show all the time, because art is long and time is short. So
That's a good line.
Yeah.
ars
I like
longa viva brevis, and it took me like the original solo show with the Imaginary Museum that you see here. Half of it is that. It comes from 2014.
Okay.
And it took me 6 months to do the
Wow.
solo show. So in this case, she took some masterpieces that weren't sold because I didn't sell everything, but I sold a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it was not complete, but I had a lot of other canvas still in the same Imaginary Museum direction.
Yeah.
Because I have like a lot of, I don't know if you noticed, but I have like different arrows. And like one of them is like the drawers collection.
Okay. Yes.
But the other is like the Imaginary Museum with masterpiece from the past, 19th century, most of the time that, you know. So I had some new stuff since 2014 that goes in the same kind of solo. So she completed with that, with recent stuff. And now as well with some Tarot de Marseille stuff.
Speaking of the drawers, because we wanted to do a little bit of a tour of the gallery, but we can only do that on Instagram. So for YouTube, could we look at a couple of your little small drawers here to talk about here?
Yeah.
Do you mind?
I just bring one.
Yeah,
Please.
He's good with us.
Yeah.
I just bring one because it's an interesting one. And,
Yeah.
All right, here. Let's get here. See everyone.
Yeah, to focus. We have Instagram over here.
Here, bring it over there.
Yeah, so tell us,
Yeah.
tell us about the drawers here and your idea behind them.
You know, I have a little bit of a magical thought.
Okay. What is it?
Kind of way to work. Well, basically, what you think is gonna determine what you say, and what you say is gonna determine what you do, and what you do is gonna determine what happens to you a little bit. So it's not that magical when you think about it. It's kind of logical, but still we don't know. It's a mind-body problem. We don't know how the thought becomes action. There's no logical direct connection.
Yeah.
Because they are separate, you know, and a lot of things happen. Shit happens.
No, for sure.
But for the drawers, it's very funny because I took from a friend. He had a very old furniture that was destroyed, and I saw the drawers, very thin, very beautiful. So I took them actually from him, and he was like, "All right, okay, I like your stencil, so but you do one drawer for me."
Oh, perfect.
So I still have one drawer that is worth $2,000 now, so it's good for him.
Oh,
but
for
I took the first drawer like this, and after I found in the street. But sometimes, like I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's almost creepy. I was walking. You know, you have some constructions, like stuff like in a triangle like this.
Yeah.
But it's hidden. You don't see what's inside, and so a lot of I don't know what inside. And I walked by, and I felt something. I went back and I looked and I found like very good like old drawer for the with the code, but mechanical code.
Yeah.
Like for for the cash.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh, it has a locking mechanism on it.
Yeah, but mechanical.
Underneath.
Mechanical with four fingers you put like and you tack tack
Oh,
tack
cool.
tack
Yeah.
tack. And very nice drawer. Like how I found this drawer, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I felt it. I swear.
I'm sure.
And a lot of things. And even in LA, it happened to me. Like this one in LA, like the small one are hard to find. They're usually quite expensive, like according to the size. Because for me, when I present the whole collection, like I have like 200 of them now.
You have 200 of them?
Yeah, I have.
Wow.
In 2018, I had 168. But some of them were sold in the years. But
for sure.
I did more since, and you have like 20 in LA. So I probably have like around 200 available.
Wow.
But I made more than 200. And most of them, they came to me. Like in all the studio, I was living in a squat. I had a big studio. I come in the morning, 3 hours, and in my studio because it was open. We didn't have doors. We didn't have windows. It was
really?
A factory.
Okay.
Old factory, and we made some windows and doors in the other part of the factory to have like a little bit of privacy. But the art studio was huge and open space. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
But in my space, I found drawers in the morning, and it happened to me in Germany.
Wow.
People brought me the drawers, like anonymous people.
Interesting.
And it happened to me in Caen, in Normandy. I had in front of my door some drawers. So literally from 2000 to 2005, I was doing only drawers and vinyl to make some cheap pop art version.
Yeah.
I did that in Canada, and you can carry them. So I did in Montreal and Quebec. I did like 44 and 44 like vinyl.
Yeah.
So I sold a lot of them, and then the other one I could bring back on the plane, you know.
Yeah.
So apart from the vinyl, I was doing only drawers, and then 2005 I started to do Canva, and I kind of slowed down the drawers because also, you know, it takes a lot of.
There are a lot of physical space taken up with them.
But in a squat, it's good because
Yeah.
you can put them all around your bed, so you don't have the air coming. It's actually warmer.
For sure. Yeah, you're insulating yourself and everything.
I use it.
The drawers.
That's why it's magical, you know. Like,
Yeah.
but after a while, it became like a bit huge to carry it to transport. So I kind of slowed down, and I wanted to make bigger format.
Yeah.
But I couldn't stop because people would keep on giving me like plain drawers, and and even like here today, I don't drive.
Yeah.
I don't drive. I don't have a car. And in LA, it's a bit.
It's challenging.
That's
and
hard. Yeah, it's very hard.
found like 20 or like 22 drawers year round.
That's so cool. I mean, I feel like that there's almost a benefit for not driving. You get to kind of really see this. You get to see the city
You
in
get
that
the
kind of a
opportunity
way.
to pay attention.
Yeah.
They weren't far away.
Yeah.
They were just in a in a circle around the gallery. So they just came
They're
to me. The
following you.
drawers.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
drawing. You draw them in.
But you need an eye for that also. You need to
Right.
show you like you
We
know.
were actually, Julia and I were just talking about, she did a mural of a palm tree, and now all she sees are like these palm trees all around. She's like, it's now to her
They're like
forefront of her mind.
I'm
Yeah.
hypersensitive to palm trees now, and I was like
Yeah.
noticing that there's 3 types of palm trees, and we were talking about it on the way, and I was like,
Yeah.
there's 3 types of palm trees, and this one looks like this, and it has this aspect, and it has this character, and you know, blah blah blah. And so
Yeah.
now I'm like way more interested in palm trees than I ever thought I would be, but we're surrounded by them everywhere, and so
Yeah.
I was like desensitized to them for a while, but now they're like running after me. Like,
Exactly.
I can't get away
Yeah.
from these palm trees.
So
Yeah.
what about, I mean, is there anything other than, obviously you had this first experience with the drawers, do they symbolize anything to you?
Okay. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a very good question again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't
No,
want
for
to
sure.
flatter you, but it's a very good question because at this time in 2000, I was writing what would be my last play. It was Man on Mars,
Okay.
and for a director, took me 1 year, and it was very good. I think it was one of my best plays. I've been played quite a lot. I had a puppet company who played only my creation.
Wow.
And I started to write when I was very young, and, poetry, and then theater. And I was played when I was 17 2 times, like you know. So it was really like my goal in life was to be a drama writer or a script writer. I had prizes for script for the cinema. The guy died. I didn't shoot the movie. Like so many things happened to me. I had so many success from the very young age that never actually allowed me to earn my life with it, and that were half success because at the end you have a prize for a script, but then you don't shoot the movie because the main character is dead. It was in Ethiopia.
Wow.
But like, I was pissed off. He died in 2004. So I was already like a stencil artist at this time, and at one point, you know, I was fed up to write from my drawer. Because when you work 1 year on something or 6 months, because 6 months documentation about space travel, and then 6 months actually writing the stuff, and then everybody telling you it's like dope except the director, and then it ends up in your drawer.
Interesting.
So I was fed up feeding my drawer, so I say the drawer is going to feed me.
I love that, actually. That's awesome.
And when you say bottom of the drawer in French, it sounds like collection of the drawer, the same word, fond, fond. And fond with the S, it's collection, or and it's also the bottom.
Yeah.
So when you do the fond tiroir, the bottom of the drawers,
Yeah.
it means you're very broke and you're looking for a penny or
Mm-hmm.
a check or something, you know. So, and what is very interesting in that, it's like you're looking into all your drawers to see if you have $1 left somewhere to buy bread.
Yeah.
But also, in the Middle Age or Renaissance, the broke artists like Caravaggio or like even some big artists, sometimes they were broke, you know, because he had so many scandals. He killed someone, like the church doesn't like his work anymore. Or so many reasons they were broke. They would take the bottom of the drawer because they don't have money to buy a canvas, no? And they will paint the bottom of the drawer. It's called ex voto. So they will paint a Virgin Mary and on the top, you know, on the wood, and they will sell it to the next church, you know, to have some money. So it's also part of art history. The bottom of the drawer has been used because when you put back the drawer in the furniture, nobody knows it has no bottom anymore.
Right.
So because you know, like the more you don't want to look poor. But you can still pretend it's furniture, but all empty because you took all the bottom to paint stuff to sell. So all these stories like kind of inspire me, and I was like, drawer is very, very interesting. And you can all put them together on the top of each other and make some installation. So I did some. I did quite a lot of like 2002, the 12 first one, and then. In another place, the 30 or 40 first one, and then in 2005, 100 of them, with a lot of urban artists, very famous, all of them. They were all like the old timers, you know, from the 80s.
Okay.
I was one of the only young guys invited, and I had my 100 drawers presented, but I was over 100 already because I had sold a little bit in 5 years.
For sure.
And after that, I did in 2011, in 2014 in another place, like always in and the last one is 2018.
2018.
All my drawers together in the
Wow.
gallery.
That's amazing.
So, and the next one maybe would be in LA because
We would love it, yeah.
I'm getting back all my drawers. So from France now.
Yeah, and you're gonna add some LA drawers too, seeing as they seem to be following you all over the place.
Yeah, I have some LA drawers already.
Oh,
so
really?
The one I made it
Oh,
here.
wow, awesome.
Except some of them, Vanessa took them from the collection because she
Okay.
really loves them. They are drawers too.
Wow.
So they are already separated from the rest of them. So I don't like to separate my drawers because it's one.
It's like one big piece.
It's one concept.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
But if you take one, if you buy one drawer, you have the whole concept is in it.
Yeah, it's like
as well.
embodied by that. by
But
that
now it's
palette.
in your place, and you can say, "Oh, this is the drawer collection."
That's amazing.
It represents the drawer collection, and it is all is present in one drawer. But for me, my drawer collection is a full collection.
Yeah.
So I want to present all of them together.
Wow.
You know, a lot of galleries ask me, "Do you have one or two drawers?" I say, "No." You take all of them for a show, or like none of them. Or here, it's all of them made in LA.
Yeah. Oh, man, I would love to see that many drawers in one show. I think that'd be very powerful.
Yeah, they'd be a presence. You know, it's not like, I mean, canvases on walls, they have their own type of presence in a space. You know, they're beautiful, but then when you have these physical objects that have all of this history and this meaning and intention behind them, and you put it all in this one space, I mean,
And
it's
it's found
really
in the street.
It's a presence.
Yeah.
You know,
It's found in the street. So I was actually since the beginning painting in the street.
Yeah.
But not the walls. The walls when I invited, and it happened to me to do. It was in front of a squat gallery, and it was a supermarket wall. So we were not really authorized to do it, and we were the first one to open. Now it's a wall of fame. You know, everybody comes here, and nobody says anything anymore for years. But back in the days, we were the first one to start to paint on the top of the wall with ladder and everything. So I was on the top of the ladder, and the police came. It was a lady officer. She was in the car and said, "Hey, give me your ID." So I gave my ID, but I stayed on the ladder.
Yeah.
She was very nice. She said, it's not to flirt, but it's kind of cool what you're doing right now. I was like, what?
She's like, carry on.
Yeah.
And I had a friend like
She's like,
at the bottom of the ladder. He was like, because if you are two, it's worse. If
Why-
you're alone,
yeah.
you're alone. But if you are two, then it's an organization.
It's like a
kind of.
yeah.
It's a gang. Like
Yeah.
it's worse. So he was kind of like not moving and like, what the hell is
He's like,
happening
he's
right now?
gonna hope like if I just like stand still enough, she won't see me.
Yeah,
or
and I was,
something.
she didn't ask his ID,
Oh man.
and I had nothing to, like
Yeah.
to check my ID. And the other guys, they were not happy. They were like, no, he has nothing. They were not happy because I had nothing, and I had no record or anything. So, and she said, okay, and she gave me back the ID and said, you should stop doing that very quickly. And they went away with the car. So I was still on the ladder. I was like.
All right.
Okay.
So I
that was
finished.
Back to work.
I finished then because, like, I told her also, like, oh, I'm sorry, it was a poster actually.
Yeah.
But it didn't look good enough, so I wanted to make. So I painted a frame around my
Oh,
poster, and I was like, yeah, but if I don't finish the frame, it won't be that nice.
Yeah.
And she let me finish. So like crazy. I was not always that lucky.
She was feeling good that day, I guess. Yeah.
So even when you do legal, sometimes you do half legal. And, in Berlin, I have the problem.
Can we, because we only have about 10 minutes left on Instagram, I
Yeah.
want to just
Do
go.
a quick walkthrough.
Well, actually, maybe we could just talk about this series here that you have if you want, and I'm going to do some kind of close-up views on Instagram.
And I want
so
to
you
show
can see
you
some of the
quickly
detail.
a project I'm working
Yeah,
on right
it's
now.
It's
maybe
so
we can do that instead
so
if you want.
We
fantastic.
can do that instead because
Sure.
it's brand new. Nobody saw it already.
That's even better.
Yeah.
So, and it's going to be edited in September.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Yeah, we can actually just bring that over then if you want to do that.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it's
And
better
let's
to
get-
film it
yeah.
actually because it's very fragile, so you have to film it from the top.
Sure.
Are we on YouTube? We'll be right back. We're just gonna go literally like 2 steps
I'm
here.
going to do a special little
Anything-
preview of some new work.
So this is the cover. It's unfinished, and this is the first book. And you have like 4 of them. And I went back to my old love, which is poetry. So I did 48 classical poems. Wow. And they one for each year of my life. But it's not the story of my life. It's like 48 different details and that happened to me. So this one is like when I was a kid, I was playing with my cousin and I fell in the water in the shopping. We were playing covers. He shoot me and I fell in the water. But it was winter. So my grandmother was like, "Are you crazy?" And I was freezing, but I was happy. And I was like, ah. So it's about that, and this is about my puppet show. You can see I kept I write by hand. Like look at this.
Yeah.
I cut by hand. I write by hand. I cut by hand. All the. Of course, it's in French, but I may work on an English translation because there's a little bit of cut off at the end.
It almost reminds me of like hieroglyphics, just the look of it. I love it.
But it would be readable because I would put like a very white paper behind to make a good scan. So this is perfume. This is 6 perfumes. So it's about like different 6 different perfumes that like. And this one is the toasted bread. It's like the dark corridor walking as a kid. I was smelling the breakfast like my grandmother, and I opened the door. It's about like childhood memories. But like the first one is always about childhood, but then it's like 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. So it's not chronological, but every 6 poems, you have 12 in a book, and every 6 poems is more or less chronological. So this one's about cities. And islands. It's a very special paper. I'm working with a guy in France. There's only 8 paper mills like that left. And it's made with clothes and glue. It's the old way to make.
The edges.
And the colors, I'm asking the different colors. So you have blue, you have gray. So this is about Guernsey Island, the house of Victor Hugo. This is in Ireland, Akil Island. And this is in Ethiopia. This is Formentera in the Balear. small, so we have painting, so
Yeah,
the paint doesn't get through. And so this is now the cities. So this is Warsaw, Poland, in 1987. When I was very young, I spent 2 Christmas there, so it's, this is Addis Abeba in Ethiopia, obviously. This is Hamburg. Hamburg, it made some of my friends cry because it's about my studio, how it became from a very creepy cave to a very famous gallery, and it became a gallery after. So it's a very nice poem. I like this one.
Nice.
This one is about Chennai, Madras in India, and I'm doing Paris right now. And as you see, I didn't finish.
How long does each one of these pages typically take?
Well, no, technically I can make 1 page a day,
A day. Okay.
but including the painting, the writing, and everything. But like this stencils I made before. So
Oh, okay.
I use some of my old stencil, and this one, the third one is not finished at all. There will be a lot of classical painting. So there is a one about this one actually. But it's not. I did only one, which is about my birth. But I didn't cut it yet, and you see it's not ready yet. But these ones are will be about famous paintings. They'll be about my imaginary museum. And the first book is finished. The first book is finished. I began at the end. Well, not totally finished because maybe I will add some stuff.
Okay. And so your ultimate goal with this book is to do what with it?
I'm going to print it, definitely, and I'm going to sell the original in the big gallery in Paris. And they agreed without seeing it.
Oh wow.
Like just on the project, and I saw the 1 page. To show something, you need to work also. I showed them 1 page and I said, guys, I'm going to make 88 pages. Are you in? They said, okay.
Of course. Maybe not.
Yeah, but they didn't see what you're seeing right now. They didn't see it yet.
They're in for
You're
it.
the first one to see it. It's about dead people, like all the people that I loved that are dead. And Carpe Diem, we know. Memento Mori, we don't. We always remember about Carpe Diem, but it's a full sentence. Carpe Diem, Memento Mori. So it's me. It's from a hopper. I painted a hopper and I drew my face on the top of it.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's funny. That's a print. So you have a lot of print. Yeah. Now first for the Imaginary Museum, I will have already stencils for that to illustrate. Because they are my favorite painter. I have like a lot.
A lot of stencils.
Now this one is about the solstice, 21st December 2021, because there was a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. So you can see them here.
Oh, cool.
So it's very recent. I wrote everything in December.
Wow.
2020, when I was 48. I'm still 48 because I will be 49 in July. It will be printed after I will be already 49.
Oh, yeah.
You need time.
Yeah.
And I did cut up here. I just want to tell you here. I did cut up with the 1,000 of poems I know by heart.
Okay.
And I used like part of them, and I changed everything around it. So I did kind of cut up, which is the technique of William Burroughs.
Okay. What is
William Burroughs, The Beat Generation, Allen Ginsberg, California. And like I had big influence from William Burroughs actually.
Wow.
But this is 19th century style poems. So I did William Burroughs technique in my way because it's 19th century. And I didn't cut books because I know all of them by heart. So I use one line, like Paris, you gave me your sheet and I made gold out of it. This is Baudelaire and so on, So, but I changed all the other lines, of course. So sometimes I make jokes with it. So at the end, like this one is about me. It's supposed to be like I'm the widow, and it's supposed to be very sad. And I did a reverse meaning.
Interesting.
Well,
Nice.
this is awesome.
Last one, Seven Joe.
Oh,
Seven Joe on the wall.
amazing.
Very nice. Good send off.
begins today,
Yeah.
and this afternoon I have already two
students coming through.
two students coming for the first session,
Yeah.
and it's minimum 3 sessions, so $150 for 3 sessions. Hopefully some of them will go for more,
Yeah.
because the more we do, the more we can do.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to do some books project like this, some breakouts collector project, and it includes anyway, like painting walls and canvas and stuff. This is always included, but I want people to work in not to waste time, not to work. And each exercise that we do won't be an exercise, but something that will be used
Used for another project, right?
for different projects.
Yeah.
Because we're going to start with the logo some, Stencil on Mondays. This logo is going to be used everywhere, on the canvas, on the wall, and on the book you're going to make, or on your play cards going to be printed with the logo. So logo, for example, will be used anyway, or your signatures, but like other stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to doing that. It's beginning this afternoon, and I'm going to publish everything on the Stencil Art Mondays Instagram. We're good connection with stuff. So.
For sure, yes. Guys, remember, if you're ever interested in learning, learning this craft, not necessarily the two-layer technique, but something a little bit more simple, something a little bit more able to grasp. Check out Stencil Art Mondays, or Sam, his Instagram that he has. Also, check out his handle as well, which is
Artist Ouvrier Instagram.
And
through Athenesa Gallery.
And through Athenesa
LA Gallery is
Yes.
the gallery here.
Oh, you have 3 days to see the show, like Thursday, Wednesday, and Saturday is going to be still visible, so...
Here we are, So, to send off, we thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for being able to take part in our experience here with Artist Ouvrier.
We're getting there.
And in the gallery space, you can see a show, Holly Stencilwood, until April 10th. Hours are 10 to 4. Stop by anytime, and we'll be tagging his recent class that he was just working about, Stencil Art Monday, so you can get all the information, everything that you need.
Yes.
So, Friday we will be with Ming. We'll be with woodworker Ming Wang in our first, hopefully continued space, new podcast room. So stay tuned for that, and thank you everyone for tuning in.
Yeah. Pleasure, guys, as always.
Yes. Have a great day, and go see some art.
Yeah. All right.
Bye-bye.
See you guys. All right.
That was cool. It was like, the flow was good, no?
Yeah.
Very good.
We had 4 or 5.
You had any good